Hey everybody, this is Steve Moore, owner of Run More, a brick and mortar store here in Westminster, Maryland, and one of the top 50 stores in the country. Today we're going to be talking about the new Altra Timp 2.0. This is actually the third generation of this shoe. We started with the original Timp, and then last year we had the Timp 1.5, and now we have the 2.0. I really have enjoyed the last couple Timps, so I was really excited for this shoe coming out. I am not an everyday trail runner as much as I would like to be. You know, life gets in the way a little bit. Sometimes it's hard to get yourself to the trail as much as you might like to, but in a really well-balanced weekly running cycle for me, I try to get at least one run a week on the trail. And we have a nice network out here that I try to get to whenever I can. And I did almost all of my trail running last year in the 1.5s. These are my old friends here. And I brought them for a couple of reasons. One, just to sort of show the old guy, but also how good they look for a shoe that I really tried to get in at least one run a week on the trail. And when I was lucky, I got more than that. But they've really held up well. They were a shoe that I really turned to a lot if I was doing some short, fast up or some more longer runs. I did break my hand running in this shoe, but that was more because I'm a klutz than anything else. But I really like the shoe, and I was really excited for the updates, and I got a chance to see it earlier in the spring of 2019. So there were a couple changes that I was excited to see and see how they're implemented, and so far this shoe has been great and not let me down. A couple quick changes from the 1.5 to the 2.0. They did shed some weight. On the men's side, the men's went down from 10.5 ounces to 9.9. The women stayed the same at 8.5 to 8.5 across the board, but it did get noticeably lighter. It does look like a little more of a trimmed up shoe. They did take away the little outside piece of rubber tip here. We had a lot of people that would pick up the old Timp and wonder what this little piece of rubber was here. This was a little bit of extra balance on the end. They sort of realized that a lot of trail runners sort of overstride when they're coming down and almost use that as a brake on their heel. So this was giving you a little bit better balance when you were coming down a hill. So they removed that on the 2.0 and they gave yourself a traditional rounded edge heel to it. They've made different outsole to this. So they switched from the previous outsole to this new Max Track outsole. It's sort of the same material that they're using on the current model of the Lone Peak. It's the same rubber base. It's still that same nice grippy material. They did change a lot of the pattern on the bottom. So if you look at the old guy versus this guy, I know this is a little funky, so it's kind of hard to see in there, but they have changed and made these more geometrical patterns on it and shapes with these nice, more like lines and slits across the bottom to it that are going to give you different levels of grip and traction if you're going to be doing stuff that's more side-to-side oriented. And plus these grooves are a little more flexible. It also has this little channel in the bottom here. My rep calls it the sort of the butt of the shoe, but it has this little channel here that's designed to give a little bit of extra flexibility through the heel. It feels so good on your feet. And again, one of those things when you run all the time and you put on the same kind of pair of shoes, you don't realize that it's starting the inside to feel a little bit different, but like I put on this shoe and I love my Timp 1.5s. I can continue to run them and be very happy, but putting on the fresh 2.0s and I'm standing in a pair right now, they feel so good on your feet. They're so nice and soft and comfortable. And you can feel the flexibility in the shoe a little bit different than you did in the 1.5. And I can feel that it's a lighter shoe too. I mean, you can really feel, it doesn't sound like that much of a difference, but 10.5 ounce to 9.9, like I've run in this shoe and then I've been walking around in it a lot today and then I've been like playing with them back and forth on my feet and like it does feel springier and it does feel lighter. This shoe has now, the way that it feels on my foot and like playing with it for a little bit and just kind of looking at it, this is a great shoe that you can sort of do everything in. And I know that was one of the changes they were looking to make between the original and the 1.5 to the 2.0 is that they were hoping to make this shoe an option for somebody to do everything in. We get people that come in here that sort of want a running shoe and they might not be able to buy a second shoe, like a trail shoe and a road shoe. So a lot of times when we're having that conversation, I'll say, and you look at your ideal week, month, whatever of running, what is your breakup of road versus maybe track versus trail? We try to figure out what might be the most logical shoe for you based on our selection that we carry. And a lot of times, someone says, I might do 10% on trail, and I'm just going to find them like a traditional road shoe. But having a shoe that you can sort of do everything in, like if somebody's like, I want a shoe that I can go and do trail in, I can do road in, and then I might walk around in it. I might do some light hiking. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find that shoe to do everything in. This shoe really is perfect for this. Like if you're going on a trip and you don't have room and you want to bring one pair of shoes that you can rock to the airport and then maybe go and do a little hiking and then go do a little 5-mile run, you can use this shoe. It's so soft and cushiony yet protective on the outer. You're really going to be able to do a little bit of everything into it, and that's one of the things that I've really liked about this shoe, and I can totally see myself wearing about as not just an everyday road shoe. Because we do have people that come in here that are wearing a trail shoe and are not even aware that they're wearing a trail shoe. So many people are also accustomed to like a really heavy, bulky shoe for trail, and that's not this at all. And even though it's got like a taller stack height than like your Lone Peak, you know, this shoe has a stack height of 29 millimeters. So it's a taller shoe and it looks beefier than your traditional Lone Peak, which is sort of like the workhorse. It looks tough, it's grippy. You know, this is your working man's shoe for trail. This shoe has more cushion and it's taller, but it's lighter. It is like a Torin. It's essentially your road shoe Torin wrapped in a trail exterior. So it is soft under your foot, but you can run a long distance in it, you can stay in a long time, and you're gonna feel comfortable in it. It's been a great shoe for us so far since it came out. People that have been used to the 1.5 that have come in excited for the shoe have come in and not been disappointed. The sizing is really good on it. I will say that I'm pretty much an 11.5 in most of my shoes, and most of the Ultra stuff, which has been a little spotty on sizing in years past, I've been an 11.5 in road. I was a 12 in my last 1.5s, and I could get away with an 11.5 in here, but I've been running in a 12. I feel more comfortable in a 12. Just having that little bit of extra room feels good on my foot. It is a little bit more of a snug fit, not in a bad way. I just do feel more secure in it, and I think part of that is the new upper on here. It still has that asymmetrical design on the tie, but if you kind of looked, and that was the only reason I brought this, if you kind of look at my old shoe, you can see like I really had to crank it down to give myself that nice secure fit. But like in the shoe that I'm rocking now, and like the shoes, the newer version of this shoe, you don't have to secure it so tight here. It just seems to fit around the midfoot a little bit better without having to crank down on it like I did on my 1.5. So the fit definitely feels better, but long story on that is I would just, if you're sort of between sizes, I would just round up. Just give yourself a little bit of extra width. And also, I just think it's a better shoe to be just a half size up. So maybe go a half size up if you're sort of oscillating between sizes, but a great shoe if you're gonna do some long stuff on the trail. And if you're looking for a shoe that you can wear casual out and about and then still have the ability to go run not only trail, but you can totally go do some road running in this shoe. And again, with that new geometrical patterns on the bottom, it's really great for side-to-side stuff. That's one of the things they're really trying to accomplish with this shoe, and I think they did that. So if you were gonna do a bunch of different outside cross-training type stuff and you just wanted an all-weather shoe that you can do everything in, this is going to be a great option for you. This shoe is retailing right now for $140, but if you go through our site at letsrunmore.com and you enter the promo code RUNMORE, you'll save 10% and we'll ship it out to you for free. So let us know below what you think about the new shoe, or if you've run in either of the previous iterations, the 1 or the 1.5. Thank you so much for watching our videos, by the way, and if you liked it, please give us a thumbs up and a subscribe. It really does help us on our YouTube algorithms and helps us reach a wider audience. So thank you so much for the time, and happy trails out there.